Damn.
Yeah, I might regret this. Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome to the channel. Join me on my journey as I train for my very first marathon. And so for the next 300 or so days, I'm gonna be training and hopefully going from a complete couch potato to completing my very first ever marathon. All right, so a few topics that I wanted to talk about before we go ahead and get started. First, experience. I don't have any experience. In reality, I actually have ran before, but that was back in high school on the tennis team, which was about 15 or so years ago. And that was the last time I ever did intentional running. And so basically my experience is zero. The only running that I do currently is that I do play tennis kind of year round. Every now and then I do hit with some of my friends. And so I do a little bit of running, although I'm sure you're aware that the running in tennis is completely different from marathon running, because in tennis, there's a lot of lateral movement, a lot of burst movement. You're pretty much sprinting the whole entire time. And so completely different as far as being able to run and train for a marathon. Topic number 2, diet. Yeah, that's pretty garbage right now, I'm not gonna lie. So my real goal is that, yes, I do want to be able to clean up my diet to the point where I'm eating healthy, keeping track of all of my calories. But for now, I don't want to overwhelm anything or make things too complicated. I just want to go out and run, get my body used to being on its feet again. So diet will come along and I will start to document that, just not right away. So in the past, I have experimented with keto as well as intermittent fasting. And currently right now, I am still doing intermittent fasting, and I recently took it to a more extreme just when I started training. So currently right now, I'm doing OMAD, or 1 meal a day. Really, the end goal is that I want to be able to control myself as far as eating. I want to be able to eat healthy, but because I have such a bad eating habit, bad relationship with food, trust me, I can eat a lot of food. And so for now, I'm going to use intermittent fasting as one of my tools. I'm going to be doing an OMAD as much as possible, but I'm also going to be trying to eat a decent amount of protein so that way I don't lose as much muscle mass as I'm training for the marathon. One thing to note is that, yes, I probably will be doing a lot of my runs, my training fasted, but that's more so of a personal preference. At some point, I do want to introduce food and be able to run with food inside of my system. Topic number 3, equipment. Definitely need running shoes, and thankfully I got them. So these are the Gaviota 5. I have very wide feet. I've always had a difficult time finding shoes that fit my wide feet. And so I knew I needed to go over to my local running shoe store just so that way I could try on a whole bunch of different pairs and find a running shoe that really does fit me and feels good whenever I'm running. Thankfully, the associate there was able to direct me towards these shoes. I want to say they said I had overpronation in my right ankle, a lot more than on my left. And so they recommended a stability shoe and they recommended this. And so far it's been pretty good. So definitely got to get some good running shoes. Next up, I got myself a watch. Nothing too special, just wanted to get some type of Garmin watch so that way I could track my distance, pace, heart rate, all of those good things while I'm running. I just bought this off of eBay, nothing too expensive, just something to get me started. Really not needed, but I ended up getting this anyway. Lastly, got a phone, and I'm pretty sure everybody has a phone. I'm only going to be using the phone, specifically the Strava app and the Garmin app, to act in parallel with my Garmin watch, just so that way I have something to fall back to look at all of my runs and track all of my data. Again, not needed. Really the only thing that was needed from this entire list were the shoes. Topic number 4, training. I don't really have a training plan at all. My goal is to just go out there and start running. In all seriousness, running isn't my forte, and at my extreme weight, I know that running can actually cause a lot more damage to my bones and joints more than good. And so the last thing I want to do is injure myself. So I'm going to be starting things off relatively slowly. For the first week, I plan on just doing half-mile increments. Week 2, probably try to boost it up to 1 mile and so forth. So really, I'm just going to go out there, run slowly, do very small increments, and slowly try to ramp it up. And that is currently my training plan. I'm sure that'll change as the weeks go on. I also plan to run about 3 times a week, specifically on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on the days that I don't run, I want to at least go for a recovery walk around the neighborhood just to get some exercise in, as well as get some new oxygen and fresh blood over to my muscles, so that way they can recover and hopefully be ready by the next time I do go on my run. Additionally, I do like to play golf with the boys, and so there are going to be days where I substitute walking with golf, and that itself is a struggle. I committed to buying a push cart, and instead of using a regular golf cart where you're sitting for most of the round, being on my feet, pushing that golf cart and walking the whole 18 holes. Those are the things that I'm going to be doing to implement into my training. That's it. That's nothing too crazy. Go out there and run, try to eat relatively decent, and try not to injure yourself. And those are the things that I'm going to be doing in order to hopefully get across the finish line at the marathon. On a side note, I've also never edited a YouTube video before. The most experience that I've got as far as editing is just making a basic slideshow for college or for work. So it's gonna be a learning curve. I'm gonna have fun with it and try to figure out what works, what doesn't work. So any tips along the way, much appreciated. But for now, this is all I got. Okay, so I need to be honest with you guys. At the time of recording this, I've just completed week 3 of my training, and unfortunately weeks 1 and 2 I didn't film anything because really I was on the fence of even documenting any of this. I've always been conscious of myself as far as my weight. I don't like to see myself on video. I hate running, and so really I'm making myself very uncomfortable just from doing all of this. And so what I do have is the data on my Strava app that I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys, just to kind of show what I did for week 1 and 2. So let's get started. Week 1. All right, so here's my very first run that I did on January 13th. Said that I had a 29 minute mile pace, and I ran for 2.9 miles. So just went over to my neighborhood park and started running and doing my half-mile run, quarter of a mile walk, half a mile run, quarter of a mile walk, and did this the whole entire time. And that's pretty much it. That's all I did for that whole entire week. For week 1, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, took the exact same route. Pretty much only did half a mile increments, and yeah, just repeated that the whole entire time. So the average for week number 1 was a 15:24 minute mile pace. And so I realized that in week 1 that I did slightly injure myself. Specifically after the first run, I noticed that my right leg around my ankle area had some slight discomfort, to the point where it was a little painful when I was walking. And on my left side, or my left foot, specifically the toe, that was very painful. And I realized that while I was running, that my toe was hitting the very front of my shoe. And so I thought the shoe was gonna be the wrong size, and I thought I was gonna have to find something else different. 2020 hindsight, it was just because I didn't break in the shoe. So that's something I learned. Make sure you break in your shoes properly. I think I only broke them in maybe about half a mile prior to actually start running in them. Yeah, that was week number 1. So here's one of the runs that I did on week number 2, January 22nd. I ran for 2.14 miles with a pace of 14:07. Once again, same route, nothing too crazy. I ended up going around the park, I believe 3 times for this specific jog. Strava said that I ran 9.8 miles for the whole entire week. I was surprisingly able to jog my very first mile that I've ever ran since high school, which is an achievement, but at the same time, it's pretty pathetic when you think about it. Week 2 made me realize that I need to pace myself. And so in week 1, I was able to just run half-mile increments. And for each of those half-mile increments, I had a lot of energy in the tank, and I felt like I could kind of keep going. So I ended up pushing myself and having a really good pace. But week 2, that was completely different. I knew just in the first minute jogging that I had to kind of lower that pace down in order to maintain and try to go for that distance. After all, we are training for a marathon here, not for a sprint, and I have to be able to make it for the entire 26.2 miles. Obviously, I'm nowhere near that, but that's why we're training. So the average for week number 2 was a 14:58 minute pace. So this is the 3rd week of prepping for the Hawaii actual marathon. We're here at Central Oahu Regional Park. This is going to be my very first time that I'm going to be filming my run. I'm going to try to shoot for 1.5 miles for just jogging, nice and easy, just to see how it goes. So let's go ahead and get this. All right, let's go.
So just hit the half-mile mark. Wouldn't say I'm gassed, but definitely feel the heart pounding. Gotta find a way to control my breathing, my heart rate. Let's keep going. It's pretty windy today. A lot more wind than I'm used to. So hopefully you guys can still hear me. Almost at about 1 mile in. 1 mile done. Still feel relatively decent. Alright, so I just finished my very first 1.5 mile jog at my own pace. Definitely wasn't the fastest thing ever, but you know, progress is progress. First week I was barely able to run half a mile without being very gassed. Second week I was able to run 1 mile, still tired, but yeah, definitely able to push myself a little bit more every single day. It feels like 1.5 miles done. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and walk for a 1/4 mile, probably try to jog another 1 mile. All right, 1.75. Let's go. Let's try to jog another mile, give or take. Always gotta make sure to take it easy. Go at a pace that you're comfortable at, and most important thing is you don't injure yourself. Which, glad to say, ever since that first week, I haven't actually injured myself. Knock on wood. Just finished another mile. I wouldn't say I'm gassed, but as you can tell, I'm breathing heavy. I might want to try another mile once I hit 1/4 mile of walking rest. Sorry about the wind. All right, just coming up on 3 miles. Let's finish strong. Let's go. Just about to finish, coming up on that last mile. Let's go. So just finished up that jog session. I was able to run my personal best so far of 1.5 miles with a 1/4 mile rest, and after that I did another mile, 1/4 mile rest, and then another mile. So total today that I was able to jog / walk was 4 miles. It is January 28th, doing a walk, nice little walk after my run yesterday, just to get some recovery in. I know that normally after a run my legs definitely feel tight, which is very true today. I know that my right leg is a little tight, so yeah, I normally like to just walk on the days that I don't run for anywhere between 30 minutes to 45 minutes or maybe even an hour, just depends. So just taking you guys along for this nice casual walk around the neighborhood and park. Just finished walking 1 mile. Just finished walking my second mile. Alright, so just got finished with my walk for the day. I was able to walk for 2.65 miles, walked for 54 minutes. It's January 29th. I'm gonna take it relatively easy. Probably gonna try to do 1 mile increment, followed with a quarter-mile rest and then another mile. But yeah, let's go ahead, get started. Join me for this run. Just hit half a mile. Coming up on just about 1 mile now. First mile, 12:30. It's pretty humid today, so I definitely feel a lot more tired than I did on Monday. I don't know if that's just because on Monday I ran the most I ever did, or if it's because of the weather. I noticed my legs were ever so slightly tight when I first got started. All right, let's go ahead and get started on our run. Yeah, sorry. Well, I'm listening. Oh my god, I'm tired. I just smelled some barbecue chicken. It's so delicious. Yeah, tired. I took a call during this jog, so it took a little bit more wind out of me. But let's keep going. Just about another half mile in to my second jog. Alright, just finished my second mile. Tired though. Definitely feel a lot more than on Monday. Might be done for the day though. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's starting to drizzle just a little bit. I'm supposed to have a storm coming in today, sometime tonight, and also tomorrow, so that sucks. Alright, so jog / walked for about 2.44 miles. Was able to do what I came here wanting to do, which was run 2 miles with 1 mile increments. Was a little bit more fatigued today than I was this past Monday. Definitely a lot more humid today. Probably could have pushed myself a little bit more, but at the same time don't want to injure myself. See you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the day that I walk. It's raining. Actually, right now it's not that bad, but earlier today it was absolutely pouring. So right now we have a storm that's hitting us, and it's supposed to last all the way up until tomorrow afternoon. Definitely not going to be able to go for my walk for today, just looking at how bad the weather is. Hopefully the weather is able to clear up by tomorrow, but not looking too good. If anything, hopefully I'm able to push everything over to the weekend. Keep you guys updated. Today is January 31st, the day after the storm. Thankfully the weather, as you can see, has cleared up and it looks pretty good to go for a run. Not too sure exactly just how far I want to run today. Kind of want to just see how I feel. Definitely want to go for at least a mile, maybe a little bit more, just depends on how the body is. Just got through my first mile, 12:30 pace. Don't feel terrible, so probably gonna try to push it. Let's go. Another half mile. I hate uphills. Did I ever mention that? 1.5 miles, 12:50 is the pace. Okay, time to walk a little bit. Gotta enjoy the scenery every now and then. All right, let's get started again. I'm gonna try to do another half mile, but I don't know if I could do uphill. Yeah, so just did that. Another mile on that one. Uphill. Absolutely kills me. Heart rate was at high 170s. Would like to jog another half mile, but changed the route to make it a little bit flatter. So we'll see. I know already I'm starting to get at my limit. Just gonna finish this up real quick. Almost there. Basically feels like I'm walking. 3:25. Started at 1.75. Pace was 14:50. All right, time to walk. Yeah, earlier this week I did my personal best of just doing 1.5 miles, and so I was able to do that twice again today. But yeah, I'm done jogging for today. See you guys later. So yeah, I am at the golf course. Gonna be playing 18 or Twilight at Lelahua Golf Course. So definitely gonna be getting my steps in. Normally it's about 6 miles. Oh, this is getting kind of dark, so I'm starting to head back to the car. Walked about 5.33 miles. Been playing for 3 hours and 45 minutes. I forgot to hit record, or not record, but forgot to track on hole number 1. So I probably ended up getting very close to 6 miles, which is about where I expected. Just got done with golf. Unfortunately wasn't able to play the full 18 holes. That was fun. Hopefully you guys liked that. Tomorrow is going to be my official rest day, so see you guys again on Monday.
So week 3 is finally in the books. Week 1, I averaged 15:24 minute mile pace. Week number 2, averaged 14:58 minute mile pace. And week number 3, I finished with a average of 13:44 minute mile pace. Learned a lot along the way so far. Still have a lot more work to do, and the work's not done. On to week number 4. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I see you guys again next week.